Hello there folks, you're with Damien Senior from Senior Games, and we're going to be doing a quick unboxing video of the Heroes of the Shire Collector's Edition for those backers that are keen to have a little look. So I'm in between moving houses. We move into our new house in about a fortnight, so you've got the pleasure of this unboxing tutorial on my bedroom floor instead of on my desk, because it's just been packed away this morning. So the first thing we got here is the rule book, as you'd expect. It's a nice big thick meaty rule book. Got all the conditions. If you haven't seen our rule book already, you're welcome to check out one of our Kickstarter updates. It's one of the most recent ones. And you've got a full PDF there that you can flick through. Myself having a quick look at this, what I've gone and done. It doesn't look too bad actually here on the video, but some of these pages are not quite dark enough for me. So the dark grey backgrounds on these pages, I've just gone ahead this morning and made them a little bit darker, just so we've got a little bit better contrast. And I actually increased the opacity of these heroes as well, because again they look fine on the video, but in person they're just a little bit too faded, which I intended to fade them, but yeah, so I had to play with that this morning. But anyway, that's the rule book out of the way. First thing we got on top here then is one of our punch boards. This is punch board 11, the fire and ice, and then we got the punch board 12, the earth and the water. And you can see we've got these little funny purple bits on the side. And it tells us here that we need to find punch board 4 for the punching key. And when I was punching out the Fire and Ice edition when it first arrived, this was a bit of a godsend for me actually, and this is why we put it on the punch boards, because obviously we do have an overwhelming amount of circular tokens, because a lot of these are the, sorry, I've knocked my tripod there, a lot of these are the turn orders. We've also got some of the hero ability tokens as well. And you'll see in a moment we've obviously got all the status effects and all the buffs. You know, punching all these out and putting them in a little bag will take a long time for you to find what you're looking for. So if you follow our punching key, so we'd recommend when you punch out all the purples, you put all those in a bag together. Then you punch out all the greys, put all those in a bag together. Okay, let's pop those off to the side. We've then got our first big punch board. Just note, guys, this box is literally exactly the same size as Ark Nova, if any of you played Ark Nova, which was a bit of a hit last year. So it's not quite A3, but this is quite a bit bigger than A4. Let me maybe put the rule book here. The rule book's almost A4 size, tiny bit longer. So you can see the size of the punch boards compared to sort of an A4 sheet. And on the back side, what you'd expect. We've got the second half, and then we start on the water scenario. And we've got the rest of the water scenario. And one of my favourite things about, I've got it longer around, about our game in general is just some of the artwork's gorgeous. I always get those Studio Ghibli vibes from it. So really happy with how the art came out. We've got another punch board here, so a little bit of a random one, finishing off those last few hexes. We've got all the standees that we can punch out here for our Kickstarter backers. We've got the exclusive hero down here, and then you can see there's the key. So we recommend punching them out and bagging them up in that order, which means when you go to play the game, it just makes your life a little bit easier. And then we're moving on to the Fire and Ice, because this is the collector's edition, so this has got both the fire and ice and the earth and water games all rolled into one. There's the rest of the fire and ice, or should I say there's the rest of the fire and the start of the ice. And we've got the rest of the ice. And then we've got the other half, the fire and ice with all their standees. The Shire starting hex, and then we wanted to utilise all this excess space that we had on here, so we just added in a few extra tokens that people might need duplicates of, and then you'll see all the heroes here, and this is because some of them are for the ally cards, and obviously some of them are for the heroes themselves. We've got your buffs. All the negatives are on the one side, so negatives are in red, and then you've got your positives in blue. And we've got our conditions here. Then we've got the last punch board. So we've got the level tokens, the bounty token. We've got the backpack token, and then we've got more HP regen or more conditions up here, and the turn order tokens for our escort quests for our escorting Bliss and an Ira. Okay, and then the first thing we've got on top here, we've got the little elemental table. This was just added for the stretch goals. The first game that I was introduced to this sort of system was Pokemon back in like the early 90s or the mid 90s, whenever it was first launched, and I was about 12 years old. Let's say we're in the ice scenario. Where you can see here, or not the ice scenario, should I say, the damage. Can't my camera won't focus on that there. Maybe a fraction better. But we've got ice here, so you can see ice spells deal an extra 1 damage to light, but ice deals -1 damage to electricity. This is only for scenario mode, so that won't work in arena mode because it gives you an unfair advantage before you start. We've got our save game sheet here. These are really cool. We've been testing them out this week, and they work a treat, and it just makes loading the game back up so easy. It's so fast as well. You can see on here, and the main things you're just looking for are the spell mastery, which scenario you're in, and your buffs, and you can load the game back up in a few minutes. We've got all our little baggies. I think there's about 15, 16 of these here for our old school gamers. We've got no plastic trays in this box. It just wouldn't fit and it wouldn't work. We've got all the spell mastery boards. So we've got all the heroes here. One moment. And we're back, sorry about that. It's just typical, isn't it? As soon as you start recording a video, the doorbell goes. I just quickly answered that. So yeah, we've got the spell masteries here. We've got all the heroes. It's just a nice quick way to identify which hero. It's the same on the hero boards. So you take the spell mastery and the hero board, and there we go. So those are the spell masteries. For those of you not familiar with our spell masteries, we've got abilities. Abilities, we place the cube on the left, so you've got flank and swordmaster, and if the spells, we place them on the right, and typically a spell is inside a circle box. Spells are castable, and the passive abilities, where we place them on the left, you just have to remember their sort of ongoing effects, passive effects, as you'd expect. We've then got the equipment boards. These are just literally just like placeholders for where we place the equipment. We've got the Warlock Demon form. There's a little overlay board that gets placed on one of our characters. Maybe I'll put it to a side and we'll show you shortly. We've got the tutorial. It's a quick PvP tutorial. It runs for about 20 to 30 minutes. It's double-sided as well. So this is absolutely perfect for those of you that don't know how to play the game. The game at first seems quite complex because you look at the rule book, it's 34 or 36 pages. Obviously it's a lot to take in, but you can learn the game in about 5 minutes. And we know this because we've been to lots of expos. The UK Games Expo in June is the big one, which has come back from this year. And there at the expo we could show someone how to play the game in about 5 minutes, and then we can leave them to it at the table whilst we're chatting to other passers-by, because you only do about 4 things on your turn. The complexity comes in all the amount of sheer choice that you have, and then also your questions would arise how this interaction works with this, but the core mechanics, the core fundamental aspects of the game you can learn quite quickly. So that's what the 20-minute tutorial is there to do, is just to break you in nice and easy. So we've got our bosses. Okay. Our water scenario bosses. the fire. Let's pop those to the side for now. We've got the quick references. So these are double-sided, so if you're running, and they can easily be passed around the table. So there's 10 of these in the box because we've got 20 heroes. So yeah, they're double-sided, and they just answer some of the questions that you might have about how things on your hero board work. And then you've got your commonly used conditions to save you looking at the looking in the rule book or on the reference sheet, or the reference card, should I say. You've got this little quick reference to hand. But once you've played the same character, 5 to 10 times, you won't really need this ever again. You'll know the character and how they work. So they're just there just to help you get your first feet through the door. Then we've got the hero boards themselves. Let me just pull these out. Alchemist. So here's all your characters. The big chunk of board. On the back, we last minute decided to change to full art. If you can remember, some of our Kickstarter, we used to have a black line down here separating the text for the contrast, but we ended up finding this nice happy medium of the this sort of the faded background, which we're really chuffed with. So we might as well just quickly go through them. I won't. Oh, sorry, knocking my tripod again there. We won't go through everything, but we've got the Alchemist, we've got the War Drummer, we've got the Warlock, we've got the Dragon Knight, we've got the Warrior, we've got the Scholar, the Shaman, or some of you call her a Shaman. We've got an Assassin. He's recently had a few buffs. We've got the Bard. We've got the Druid. Got the Engineer, Musketeer, Huntress, Illusionist, Berserker. He's one of my favourite artworks, as you guys can tell, because we use him quite a lot on our promotional material. We've got the Paladin, one of the first. I can't remember if it was the Huntress or back then it was a hunter. It was a male hunter. The Hunter and Paladin we had pretty much done at the same time from the artist. We've got the Runesmith, Blood Mage, and seems to be everybody's favourite in PvP. He was the #1 pick character. He was picked 10 times in our 2v2 tabletop simulator first unofficial tournament. Was the Witch Doctor, and last but no means least, should I say, we've got the Cleric in there. We've got all our little power cubes here that are used for leveling up and also used for the spell masteries. Small cards. Our first little pack here. Let's open them. Why not? So 5 here. These are the antidotes for the, as you would guess, the White Widow boss in the ice scenario. And then we have the foraging cards for the Alchemist. So these are wild flowers. She plays a little mini game of pairs in her hero ability, and that will dictate which potion should I say, that she conjures. More cards here. These are small cards again. What have we got in here? Oh, he's only gone and pinged his cards all over the place. No, he's knocking the box at the same time. Well, on the top then, what we got here? We've got they've got quest rewards. So Aldrich's Shield. You've got, so these are all quest rewards. These first few you can tell by the back on the cards. And then we hit the quest item. So a quest item is something that we actually have to use. So a part of a quest, and you can see that there. You have to equip it to your slot on your equipment board. It goes on the miscellaneous because of this little icon here in the bottom left. And you're trying to capture an elite monster inside the flask. And you can only use the flask when the elite monster has 5 or less HP. So that's the quest item. And then you've got the quest rewards. These are some of the strongest loot items in the game because they take a while to complete. I've messed all these cards up, haven't I, dropping them out my hand. It's like having a newly sleeved deck of cards and the sleeves haven't been bashed together yet and they're really slippy. I'm a Magic player, so I know all about that. We've got our array of loot items. These are the power cubes that level you up. Some really nice artwork in some of these. There's one more there. This is the exploration deck, and our loot items finished there. And then we've got the exploration deck, so every time you flip over one of our hexes in the scenario, you'll take a card from here and resolve it. This one tells us to summon 4 elite trash mobs to battle, take another one. This tells us to take an action card and resolve it, and so on. So we've got here, got the 2 boss dice and the little plastic standy holders. So these are our custom dice that get rolled every now and again on some boss spells. And if you meet the criteria of what the roll tells you on the spell, you'll add the condition to the spell. We've got HP dice. These are for all our heroes. These will get bagged up in the dice bags. We've got the cooldown dice. I think it's like 94 of these or something. In the end, we went for square sides instead of the curved sides because we don't really roll these very much. They're more for just rotating around. We've got the 6 dice bags. These are nice. I've already made a change to these before you guys receive your pledge. So at the moment we've got 6 black. I don't know why I hadn't thought about this a long time ago, but it only just dawned on me now. What we're going to do is have one different colour. I'll probably have one of these bags in red. So the red one would be for the boss, and the other 5 would be for the heroes. And they're very much the same. The only difference is in the red one we don't place all 13 of the spell mastery power cubes. So if you were playing, let's say, 3v3 arena where there would be 6 heroes and not 5 heroes and 1 boss, it wouldn't matter. You can still tip the boss out. You've still got all your dice. The only difference you'd be missing your 5 power cubes. But because every player at the table would have 13, you can just borrow 5 from someone else's bag because they don't need 13 if you play in the arena mode. You only need that for your maximum level. We've got another little small set of cards here. Let's open these. So we've got the turn order cards, we've got the upkeep summaries, we've got the reference little cards. These just contain all of them for when you're a little bit more advanced at the game and you don't need the specific hero quick reference cards, sheets should I say. You can just use these. We've got our quest cards. I'm going to turn these around because these look gorgeous. So yeah, we've got all our quest cards here. Sorry guys, I'm not very organised. This whole space here is just a chaos, but welcome to my life. And then we've got the quest allies. These are the escort quests. These get equipped to your ability tab throughout the game. Then we've got the wandering merchant. He sets up a shop and there's some instructions on the back there. I already edited this card earlier, shifting everything up a little bit because I wasn't quite happy on how it almost cuts that bottom bit off, and I also removed that line between legendary and power cube. And then we've got the ally cards here, and these are little heroes that you'll find on your journey through the action cards and will get added to your adventure. And then we've got the 2 big bulks of cards. I think there's about 120 in each. We'll open these in another video because we'll just go through all the cards that are in there, but you can see we've got the action cards. You guys can see, look how crisp that text is there, because 1 or 2 people were concerned coming to see us at expos that, oh, your cards, I can barely read the writing, but I was having to remind them that our prototypes were so old that we weren't using our prototypes anymore because they were from about two and a half years ago. So what I'd been doing at the expos is just printing out the most up-to-date cards and going off the, just my quite cheap home printer, and the quality is terrible compared to this. So yeah, well done Longpack. We're really chuffed with the quality of everything. And then last but not least, we've got the box. So here is your roster of heroes to allow you to pick. Got the back of the box here. Oh, sorry, knocking my tripod again, but you can see up there, it's the Kickstarter edition. Includes all your stretch goals. So as always, guys, thank you so much for turning this sort of tabletop idea into reality. We're sorry it's taken a little bit longer than we'd anticipated, but we assure you that the product is much better for it in the long run. One thing I never got around to doing was these sleeves. I've not even actually opened the demon ones yet. Where have my... no, I don't have any to hand actually. I was just looking for the Witch Doctor ones, but I think I packed them away in the Fire and Ice edition of the game. The only thing I've got to hand is the True Solo Mode add-on, which is so cute. There's the cards in there, and we'll go through that another time. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. We look forward to fulfilling this for all our backers in a couple of months. In between then, if you would like to share any of our promotional content on our videos, just to help us shift the last few hundred excess copies of the game, that would be amazing, because we'll be using these funds to continue expanding the Shire Empire with our Light and Shadow expansion, which we hope to drop on Kickstarter in around about 12 months. So thank you ever so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. Senior Games over and out.